What's up, guys? Scott here, back with what I'm calling the first edition of the Arrowverse Weekly Roundup. So, the Arrowverse is officially only 1 week away, actually a little less than a week from premiering again, with the return of Batwoman on Sunday night, this coming Sunday night, the 17th of January. So, I want to talk about what I'm hoping and expecting from the Batwoman premiere, but I also want to talk about why I love the Arrowverse so much as a franchise. So, let's get into why. Before I talk about Batwoman, let's talk about why, up to this point, I've overall loved the Arrowverse as a whole. Now, first of all, no franchise is perfect, right? I mean, every tree has some bad apples. You know what I'm trying to say. But overall, as a whole, I think the Arrowverse has been a great franchise for DC fans to enjoy, uh, because of what they've done. And I have a list of kind of why I love it and with what they've done. So first and foremost, they've created a whole shared universe of what I would definitely call lesser known DC characters. Like, now the Flash, Barry, he's pretty high tier because in most incarnations of the Justice League, Barry the Flash is usually a founding member. So the Flash is pretty high tier, but I would still call him like lesser first tier hero. He's not the Trinity. He's not Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. But I would definitely call the Flash the most high tier popular hero of the Arrowverse. But other than him, really, even though these heroes definitely have their fans, I mean, you got heroes like Supergirl, Supergirl, Black Canary, White Canary, Green Arrow, Batwoman, Black Lightning, Stargirl just came in. For the most part, this franchise is based around lesser known DC characters, and I like that they've created basically a whole shared universe with these characters and giving them their chance to shine in the sun. And so that's definitely one thing the Arrowverse has done a phenomenal job of. Number two, they've done some great storytelling and world building with these shows and these characters. Like, I can't really think of any. Like, I think each character on their own show is fleshed out really good with their individual stories going on. And when they come together for a crossover, I think most of the time it's handled really well. I mean, Invasion, Crisis on Earth X, Elseworlds, and then of course Crisis on Infinite Earths. I just felt that all those crossovers, the characters, at least I thought, melded together naturally. I didn't think it felt rushed or that it didn't make sense. I mean, I felt like those characters were written together well. And then of course you have the different heroes with their different cities, and just some great storytelling and world building with these characters. And on that note, also, not only the main heroes of each show, but I also think that the Arrowverse has done a great job giving the side heroes on each show chances to shine and develop their characters too, like Frost or Killer Frost, Cisco, whose vibe, Alex Danvers, Dreamer, Martian Manhunter, just to name a few. Some of the characters on Arrow, the members of Team Arrow, like Felicity and Dinah, Renee. So the Arrowverse does a great job of building their characters and their stories, and giving each character their chance to shine. Like, talk about Crisis on Earth X for a minute. Crisis on Earth X, as far as action and fight choreography, like quality, I'm gonna say it's the best because I think they made sure every hero in that crossover got their chance to shine when they were fighting the bad guys. Like when Black Canary and Cisco and Adam and a few of the other side heroes were fighting Metallo in that room. They all got their moment to shine in that fight. And then of course, when White Canary, or when Sarah and Alex and Oliver and Kara and Jefferson, who's Firestorm, all go to that warehouse to fight the Nazis. And that warehouse fight is so good. Each hero got the chance to shine in that fight. So the Arrowverse has done a great job of building their characters, giving their characters moments to shine, and building these worlds, and building their main characters and their side characters. So great job there. Also kind of the same thing. Number three, you feel the Arrowverse has done a great job of building the feeling of camaraderie and friendship and kind of brotherhood between these heroes. So you feel the bonds. So when something happens, you're like, oh man, whether the writing, the acting, part of everyone, I think that's all gone into. You really feel the bond of camaraderie between these characters, and I think they handle that really well. Like in Earth X, for example, or Infinite Earths, when the team comes together to fight the bad guy, whether it be the Anti-Monitor or the Reverse Flash and his Nazi army or whoever, you feel the heroes united, and I love that. To me, the camaraderie is very well developed, not really forced. And that's kind of the advantage of having a television show. You can tell more drawn out stories and develop these characters more. Now, even though I like the movie, and we'll have to see what happens in the Snyder Cut, which is like 4 hours long. But still, the Justice League movie, they kind of had to rush everything together with introducing Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. It just felt really rushed. Now, again, we'll have to see what happens in the Snyder Cut, but still, even then, like, you're throwing all these characters in one movie. You guys got to flesh it out a little bit. So, but the Arrowverse done a great job of fleshing out the characters and then bringing them together, developing their friendships and camaraderie. Great job there. And then the last thing kind of goes over everything. The Arrowverse embraces that it is a television universe, which means that definitely sometimes it's very obvious that their budget is not the best, especially when it comes to like huge, like the Anti-Monitor, for example, his army of CGI shadow demons. They're called shadow demons, but they didn't look very good. I mean, still loved the battle, but in fact, someone else that was talking about the crossovers I watched on a video said Crisis on Earth X was so good because they were fighting non-CGI bad guys. The Nazi putty guys or the Nazi henchmen guys. They were fighting real, quote unquote, real people. Not CGI armies. So that I think that made it better on a television budget. Now, a movie like Avengers or Endgame, when they have like a 10 times more of the budget, they can do a CG. I mean, Thanos himself is basically completely CGI, but it looks real. The movies have so much more budget to work with. On a television budget, CGI can look really bad. So the movies can afford to do a CGI bad guy army or just a CGI bad guy, and it still looks lifelike almost. But on a television budget, sometimes it can look kind of bad. But that being said, that's still Crisis on Infinite Earth specifically. Even though the budget, they embrace what they are and they do the best with what they have. And I love that. The final battle when Sarah leads all the heroes against the Anti-Monitor, love that moment. I mean, yeah, you may call it cheesy and, whatever, but I still love that moment. Like, I mean, they embrace what they are and do the best of what they have to offer. And I love that as a fan. They give us the best they give us the best they can with what they have. Love it. So now we kind of go over why I love the Arrowverse. I want to talk about Batwoman for a little bit. So first and foremost, going into Batwoman, I had meager to low expectations. I'd heard good and bad things, especially with that first trailer they dropped during the summer. I mean, it was bad. But after I watched the first couple episodes, I really got into it. Batwoman is a good show. I really thought I would never... I was invested. I liked Kate Kane. I liked her relationship with Luke and with Luke and Mary and Sophie, and then the villains. The villain side, you had Alice and Mouse, and then Dr. August Cartwright. So I liked Batwoman season 1. And so I'm excited for season 2. However, so overall, despite all the hate it gets, I like Batwoman. I think it's a good show, and I liked season 1 quite a bit. I was very pleasantly surprised. In fact, I would say next to The Flash, it was the best show post Crisis on Infinite Earths. It and The Flash were the best shows after that mega crossover. Which is kind of weird, but a show that got so much hate was in my opinion, one of the best after the huge crossover. So I'm excited for season 2, but I want to talk about my hopes and expectations for season 2. Well, first and foremost, obviously. So for those who don't know, Ruby Rose, you can it's kind of he said, she said on why she left exactly, but in any case, she left after season 1. So there was talks whether they're going to recast Kate Kane or they're going to bring in a new character. I personally feel like they should have just recast Kate Kane to keep it simple, because this is not the first time in a superhero franchise. It's happened in the MCU. It's happened in the Arrowverse. But this is not the first time in a superhero franchise where an actor has left a role and they could just recast. Don Cheadle, War Machine in the MCU. Terrence Howard played him in the first movie. Don Cheadle's played him from there on. So, and then Arrowverse, granted it was only during... Sarah Lance only appeared briefly during Arrow season 1, and it was a different actress than Katie Lotz. But Katie Lotz came in season 2 onward and has played it ever since. But I think Batwoman was still early on enough that if they had just recast Ruby, it wouldn't have been that big a deal. But for some reason, whatever, they decided to bring in a new character named Ryan Wilder, who will be portrayed by an actress named Javicia Leslie. And they've shown trailers and stuff. I just hope, and this isn't a spoiler because it's in the trailer. Basically, now we don't know the details of the episode airs, but basically Kate Kane is just missing. They have said they're not killing her off, so that could leave the road to maybe her come back later to wrap up that story. But definitely at the start of the season, Kate Kane is just missing. So we're going to see how they're handled. But I hope that Kate Kane's departure is handled well with the writing, and that it kind of goes to number 2, that Ryan Wilder is integrated well into the show with the other characters. That it doesn't feel so forced and rushed. But the writers, the Batwoman pleasantly surprised me. So I have utmost faith and hope that they can do a good job of transitioning from Kate Kane to Ryan Wilder. So basically, in a nutshell, I hope Kate Kane's departure is handled well, and that Ryan Wilder as the new Batwoman integrates well into the show with the other characters and all that. Then the new villain that's been confirmed, Sophia, who was mentioned in season 1. Apparently, she and Alice have had some dealings. But Sophia is a major Batwoman villain in the comics. In fact, I read a comic with her as the villain. So she's a major Batwoman villain. I hope that she's handled well. I don't know if she's going to be like the big bad of the season, but she's definitely going to play a major role. And then probably the first and foremost, when the crossover happens, there's supposed to be a crossover with Batwoman and Superman and Lois, but they said the other characters from the other shows are coming in, so I'm assuming Supergirl and Flash and White Canary will be there. But I hope that when the other heroes meet Ryan as the new Batwoman, that by the end of the crossover, that they have fully embraced her as the new Batwoman. And so, I just hope that the burden, that's a good word, the burden of her being the new Batwoman isn't a storyline that goes on too long. Like, she's the new Batwoman, she's decided to take up Kate Kane's mantle to help defend the city and defend the world. So I hope by the end of the crossover that the other heroes have embraced her as the new Batwoman. So that's my hopes and expectations for the Batwoman Season 2, kind of in a nutshell. At least my first few, at least. The ones I could come up with. Now, before I go, I have to talk a little bit about the crossover. So I was on a live stream last night with a YouTuber that follows the Arrowverse. And he said his theory. So it's been confirmed that John Diggle is coming back for a 5-episode arc across 5 shows. He's going to be on Superman and Lois, Supergirl, Batwoman, Legends, and The Flash. So the 5 Earth Prime based shows for sure. The 5 main Earth Prime based shows. It's been confirmed he's come back for a 5-episode arc. The YouTuber I follow his theory. So slight spoilers for Legends of Tomorrow season 6, but at the end of Legends of Tomorrow season 6, Sarah Lance, White Canary, gets abducted by aliens. Or abducted by something. Like, there's a beam and then she's gone. So the YouTuber I follow, his name is OmniDog1 Media, I think, something like that. Pretty new guy, I think, because I've been following a lot of Arrowverse for a while, and he's pretty much just recently come on my radar. But he's good. I like him. He came up with a theory that Sarah Lance was abducted by Mongol and has been taken to Warworld. And so what Mongol's a bad guy, and he goes around to worlds and he abducts heroes from that world that he feel would be worthy to be in his army to help him conquer or something. And so anyway, the theory, in a nutshell, he thinks that Mongol has kidnapped Sarah Lance, and that the 5-part crossover will be Diggle recruiting the other heroes to help go save Sarah, and then also maybe Diggle becoming a Green Lantern fully to help defeat Mongol. So doing a storyline where the Diggle teams up with the other heroes to go save Sarah from Mongol, that would be awesome. And with him becoming a Green Lantern at the end, oh, the potential is awesome. I hope it's true, man. That would be so awesome. Anyway, guys, but yeah, so starting next week, now depending on my work schedule, I don't know when I'll be able to get videos out, but I'm going to try to do a video every week talking about the Arrowverse that week. Now, starting out for the first 2 weeks, it's just Batwoman, so it won't be that hard, but then we got Superman and Lois and Flash at the end of February, so the videos may get longer as I go on, but it'll just be best for me to do one video a week as far as Arrowverse coverage. And then I'm planning on doing a video review of WandaVision after it finishes airing, which premieres Friday, by the way, so excited. And then plan on reviewing The Mandalorian at some point. But as far as Arrowverse goes, expect one video a week with coverage of any major things and my theories and stuff. And so my feelings on that week's episode. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and peace out.